Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the open meeting for Thursday, July 20th, 2023, and ask the Commission Secretary for information on today's agenda.
Each commissioner, Each commissioner has independently reviewed the minutes of the open meeting of Thursday, July 13th, 2023, and each has informed me there's no need to discuss the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of July 13th, 2023.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Each commissioner has independently reviewed the agenda, and each has informed me there's no need to discuss the notices associated with agenda items 2 through 7, the suggested minute associated with agenda item 8, accepting the final statement of scope and directing staff to continue the rulemaking process, the draft order to reopen notice and request for comment in docket 6490 ER 109 associated with agenda item 9, the suggested minute associated with agenda item 10, denying the request for formal review of the complaint filed by Nicholas Garvey against Little Chute Municipal Water Department, or the suggested minute associated with agenda item 11, dismissing the complaint by joint execution of a consent agreement between the Commission and Chippewa Concrete Services and accepting the proposed consent agreement as drafted, which directs the respondent to attend the educational course under WISSTAT 182.01753 BR4, and pay all fees associated therewith, assessing a forfeiture against the respondent of $9,500 and directing payment of the required $950 surcharge to Diggers Hotline.
I move we approve the notices of investigation associated with agenda items 2 through 4.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move we approve the notices of proceeding associated with agenda items 5 through 7.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. In docket 1 AC 257, I move we accept the statement of scope and direct commission staff to continue the rulemaking process.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
In docket 6490 ER 107, I move we approve the order to reopen, notice, and request for comment.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. In docket 3140 CC 240854, I move that we deny Mr. Garvey's request for a formal review.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And in docket 9300 PLI 119, I move that we agree to dismiss the complaint by joint execution of a consent agreement and accept the proposed consent agreement as drafted as described by the secretary.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 12, which is docket 6680-AF-105. This is the request of Wisconsin Power and Light Company for deferral of incremental pre-certification costs and pre-construction costs associated with their natural gas turbine improvements at the Neenah Energy facility. So in this particular case, they're seeking $2 million of pre-certification costs and $38 million of pre-construction costs. Our statement of policy as it relates to whether or not these costs meet the requirements for deferral, our statement of position 9401, are laid out in our memo. This is the fifth one of 6 that we have received from this particular applicant. And so I guess I'll cut right to the chase. I'm going to stay consistent with where I've been in the past, and that would be I would deny the pre-certification costs, but I would allow the pre-construction costs, and the timing is always, for me, beginning the day after the order. So just a really high-level note on this. It is somewhat of an anomaly to receive the request related to pre-certification costs. And the way that I think about the pre-certification costs are when a company is sitting down and they're laying out their budget for the next 5 years and they're looking at every project that is in the queue, they have to assess and plan for things like legal services. So they're coming up with a budget for things like professional services, engineering, and things of that nature. And I don't think that it's appropriate to then ask customers to pay for those costs, because ultimately that's the cost of doing business. And so I don't think that pre-certification costs meet the standard for deferral. I think that they should continue to follow, I believe it's the FERC, I don't want to misspeak, but there's supposed to be expensing, right? Is that true? Yes, so without deferral authorization, the applicant would be required to immediately recognize those costs. And I also don't think that $2 million of pre-certification costs rises to the level of materiality, nor will it cause financial harm to the applicant. So as it relates to pre-cert costs, I'm at alternative 2, which means I wouldn't decide on carrying costs because I wouldn't allow the costs to be deferred. And then for pre-construction costs, I'm at alt 1. I would allow them to record their pre-construction costs in QUIP and accrue AFUDC. And then in terms of that AFUDC accruing on the pre-construction costs, I would have that begin 1 day after the date of our final decision in this docket. Commissioner Huebner.
Yep, I'm in the exact same spot as you are. I think on pre-certification, I mean, my read is that we should get this utility to, as you described it, it's our uniform system of accounts. And that, according to our memo, calls for pre-certification costs to be currently expensed rather than capitalized. And it seems like that's how everybody else is doing it.
Yes.
And when I talked to our staff about, okay, well, is their budget lower? You know, there wasn't a direct response that, yes, we know that their annual budget is lower because they're doing this differently. Maybe if the applicant can show that or prove that, that would be a way to change my thoughts on that. But
Yep.
At this point, you know, I think they should follow the uniform system of accounts. And then, yeah, not authorizing the carrying costs. And then on pre-construction, I was at the alternative 1 for that. And then I would, as you said, beginning 1 day after the final decision.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Strand?
I can join you guys at the same exact place. I agree that sort of pre-certification is the cost of doing business, and they would probably need to do those, expend those funds and explore those options, no matter whether the project went forward or not. And that's something that they should be therefore responsible for. And I agree. And you know, when I've had issues with these in the past, it's been about the materiality of the dollar figure, and I think 38 seems material to not so much. So I can join you guys at all the same places for pre-certification, pre-construction, and carrying for pre-construction, and the timeline for pre-construction as well, or for the deferral as well. Thank you.
Okay, in docket 6680 AF 105, I move, we do exactly what we said, right? Is that good enough, Zach? I move that we deny the pre-certification costs, but approve the pre-construction costs beginning 1 day after the date of the commission's final decision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 13, which is docket 6680-AF-106. Same applicant, different facility, same result for me. This is for their Sheboygan Falls facility, again, requesting $2 million in pre-certification costs, $38 million pre-construction costs. And I'm at the exact same place, which is alternative 2 for the pre-certification costs, which is denying that. Alternative 1 for the pre-construction costs. And then in terms of timing, alternative 2, allowing it to occur the day after our final order.
I'm in the same spot.
Okay, Commissioner Strand.
Me 3.
All right, okay.
All right, in docket 6680 AF 106, I move that we deny the pre-certification costs and approve the pre-construction costs beginning 1 day after the commission's final decision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that concludes our official business for today. The next open meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, so no open meeting next week.
Move we stand adjourned until August 3rd, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.